Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. Today, we are going to cover some more things that have just broken that could get your next cruise canceled if you're cruising with Carnival out of the United States. Also, Disney has some new news that could also cancel more cruises. It's like freaking cancellation week right now. So sorry to have to report on this. MSC Cruises has a new ultra luxury line that we're going to tell you all about. And the U.S. Maritime Commissioner is looking to rule on some cruise refunds, and he also has a message to cruisers, so stay tuned for that. Also, we're going to talk about 3 weather fronts that could affect cruising in the upcoming weeks. And Virgin Voyages will be skipping a port. So stick around and we'll get started. But first, to all the new people that have subscribed in the last couple of days, thank you so very much. I see your comments. I've looked through all of your names that have subscribed. There's just been hundreds of you and we really appreciate it. Thanks for joining the Midships family. I'd like to remind you that our giveaway is live through tomorrow at noon Eastern time. There's a link in the description below that you can follow to the giveaway video. Watch it for all the instructions and you could win these 4 towel bands and 2 cruise lanyards. While you're looking at the giveaway items, don't forget, if you just can't wait to get your hands on them, I do have Amazon links in the comment section below. You can click on them. It'll take you directly to the Amazon listing for these 2 products. You can order it and have it shipped to you in a day or 2. Any orders that you make through those links will help our channel directly, so we would very much appreciate it. Also, don't forget your price won't go up at all. It's just a way to say thank you. So let's hop into the very first story from thepointsguy.com's Ashley Kosiolek. If you need oxygen or are on dialysis, you can't cruise with these lines right now. If you need oxygen or dialysis, you won't be able to sail with Carnival Cruise Line, Holland America Line, or Princess Cruises right now. The same goes for passengers who are unable or unwilling to wear masks. So this is new information. It just came out about a half an hour ago, right as I was finishing up the plans for today's video. It's still pretty fresh, but it sounds like if you currently need supplemental oxygen or are on dialysis, right now, these Carnival brands will be turning you away for cruising. So you might want to check in with your cruise line specifically for more information if this affects you. Okay, so now we have maybe even more bad news for people if you're traveling aboard Disney Cruise Line. From the Orlando Sentinel by Richard Trudeau. Disney Cruise Line to require COVID vaccination for passengers despite Florida law. There's a beautiful photo of the Disney Dream here. Disney Cruise Lines is the latest to shift policy to now require passengers 12 and older to be vaccinated against COVID-19 for sailings from Florida, even though a law pushed by Governor Ron DeSantis, that's the governor of Florida, threatens to fine cruise lines for asking for proof of vaccination. The move comes nearly a week after the Bahamas updated an emergency COVID declaration that prohibits cruise ships from entering Bahamian ports, including the many cruise lines' private islands, unless eligible passengers are fully vaccinated. This does not apply to any passenger under 12 years old, and it also doesn't apply to people who have a medical exemption from vaccination. So the mouse is jumping on to the vaccine mandate train that we've seen Carnival and Royal Caribbean hop on in the last couple of days. So if you have a Disney cruise and you had an exemption and you weren't vaccinated and you're over 12, you now are not going on that cruise if it's in the next couple of months. So keep that in mind. Check your cruise planners, Disney cruisers. We have a new entrant into the ultra luxury cruise line fray, and that is going to be from actually an experienced line. MSC Cruises will be building 4 new ships that will be ultra luxury class ships. Fincantieri, the famous shipyard, will be doing construction on these ships, and they actually have already laid the first steel for the very first ship. So let's talk about this ship. Fincantieri begins the building of MSC's Explora I. Fincantieri and MSC celebrate the start of construction on Explora I, the first of 4 ships to be built for Explora Journeys, the new luxury brand of the cruise division of the MSC Group. And here's a photo of the Explora I. Beautiful ship, absolutely gorgeous lines. Reminds me a lot of some of the Disney ships or even like a Cunard line, just with this black and white paint scheme. It looks very posh, I think is the word that hops into mind. So that would be really cool to take one of these ultra luxury cruises on board MSC Explora I. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing? Could you comment below? While you're down there, give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss one of our daily episodes. Okay, cruisers, we are on weather watch yet again, another week of hurricane season down here near Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to look at a quick story by the Orlando Sentinel. This is written by Joe Mario Pedersen, and it is entitled Hurricane Center Watches 3 New Potential Storms. 2 have 60% odds of further development. Here's the 5-day outlook here. So the National Hurricane Center is watching 3 areas of interest Tuesday morning, all with medium to high odds of becoming the next tropical depression or tropical storm. So you can see here, we've got 3 things here. One of these, this guy right here is probably not really going to affect cruising, but this one and this one here, we got to watch out for because this is heading towards major cruise ports here. This is the area where Grace actually just plowed through last week. Poor Cancun and the eastern tip of Mexico here, they're still cleaning up from Grace. And now here in the next week or two, they could be facing yet another hurricane. We could see lines canceling Cozumel again. This, for all we know, could turn north and go to Galveston and screw up cruising. And this yellow one down here, we have no idea. This could end up in Florida. It could end up in the Gulf. Prevailing winds probably push it to the Gulf, but you never know. It could push up north and head towards where Henry is just hitting. So it's the time of year that you just have to be very flexible with this. And I just want to make you aware that we could see some weather-related port changes coming up in the next week or two because of all this activity out here in the Atlantic. Last week, we reported a very sad story about Marilyn Tackett. She was the 77-year-old teacher who sailed on the Carnival Vista and had to disembark in Belize with a case of COVID. She later flew home to the United States and succumbed to her illness. And it seems like it's taken an entire week for the mainstream media to pick up on this story. But I just want to show you, this is one of about 24 versions of this story that I have seen just in the last hour or two come across the line reporting on this story. So it sounds like the news media is picking up on this, and it's going to maybe make some further waves come down on the cruise industry. So I just want to make you aware of this. It's developing. We just need to put a pin in this story because it could have further implications. Now let's talk about Virgin Voyages. They have that new ship, the Scarlet Lady. She's an absolutely beautiful ship. She's currently running itineraries over in Europe, but is due to come back to her home port in Miami later this year. And she has some itineraries which were originally slated to go through Key West, Florida. Now, Key West, Florida, ever since the pandemic, they do not want cruise ships to port there. And Virgin Voyages has decided that they are going to respect the wishes of the Key Westians. Key Westerlands? Key Westiites? I don't know. Comment below. What's the plural of Key West? Okay, so in an article by the Points Guy's Ashley Kosiolek, Virgin Voyages replaces cruise calls on Key West following community outcry. New cruise line Virgin Voyages will remove Key West, Florida ports of call from its itineraries, citing their desire to respect locals' decision to ban cruise ships carrying more than 1,300 passengers. In late 2020, Key West residents voted to prevent large vessels from docking and to prioritize docking privileges for cruise lines with the best environmental and health records. So you might be wondering what Virgin Voyages is going to do with this extra port day that is now no longer happening at Key West. Well, the answer is pretty simple. You're going to Nassau, Bahamas. So Scarlet Lady is showing up in Nassau later this year. So very cool. It's unfortunate you missed Key West. That's a really cool cruise port. Love Duval Street. If you've never been there, definitely make it a priority to hit up Key West. Just stay off the bougie slushies. I don't know if any of you know the place I'm talking about, but Fat Tuesdays will sneak up on you in Key West. Let's just leave it at that. Last week, Midships reported to you that the first cruise ship to leave from Boston in over a year would be departing this past weekend. And now we have some video to show you of the Crystal Symphony pulling out of port here in Boston. And you can see this is from WBZ CBS Boston. Their local reporters captured this Looks like a very kind of foggy, overcast day in Boston Harbor, but guess what? The tea party's on, baby, because Crystal Cruises is sailing again. Now, our next story is going to be about the refund policies that these cruise lines have been offering lately during COVID. They're actually currently under an investigation by the Federal Maritime Commissioner. We're going to read a story about this and kind of give you a little bit more information from CNBC's Lori Ann LaRocca. Federal Maritime Commissioner Sola says agency will weigh in on cruise line refunds soon. Before we begin reading this article, I would like to report on a quote from Commissioner Sola. I think it's worthwhile to look at, especially because of all the negative press we've seen lately on cruising. We have a positive report from an official who knows what they're talking about. Given the strict safety protocols in place on cruises, Sola said, I would feel much safer on a cruise ship than I do flying. So just like Midships has been reporting all along, these cruise ships are one of the safest methods of travel. Look at how many times you are tested, you are traced, you are tracked. There are actually people whose job it is to contact trace on the ship. So people are actually looking out for you actively, unlike in other forms of travel. Let's get back into the article here. The Delta variant is fueling a resurgence in COVID infections in the United States, just as the cruise line industry ramps up operations after months of being sidelined. So let's talk about this fact-finding investigation that has been open since last year about cruise line refund policies, because I'm sure some of you are sitting here like, where's my money, dude? I paid, you didn't provide my service, and now I would like a refund. Let's hear, there might be something coming down the pipe for you. Federal Maritime Commissioner Louis Sola sat down last week with CNBC to discuss his fact-finding 30 investigation into the cancellation policies of the cruise industry throughout the pandemic. Sola launched his investigation in August of 2020 in an effort to amend regulations concerning cruise line non-performance and refunds for canceled voyages. Sola proposes that if a sailing is canceled or a passenger boarding is delayed by 24 hours for any reason besides a governmental declaration, a full refund must be paid within 60 days to the passenger following a refund request. Also, if a sailing is delayed or canceled by government declaration, a full refund must be paid within 180 days. So the article goes on to say that they're looking to update us by the end of this week on this new refund policy that is coming in place. It's so good to get some extra consumer protections in place for these refunds. I know we've seen some people struggling to get refunds. I've even seen some people in my comment section just today saying they've had trouble with some cruise lines to get refunds for cruises that didn't happen and didn't work out. So maybe this will provide a little bit of protection and help to get that money back. Now, don't forget, the giveaway ends tomorrow at noon Eastern. If you'd like to enter to win, go ahead and click down below. There's a link in the description. Also, if you'd like to purchase any of the giveaway items, there are Amazon affiliate links. It doesn't raise the price for you, really helps our channel out to grow. We would very much appreciate it if you purchased items through those affiliate links. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at Midships.